What's up, witches?
What's up?
I'm Linda.
And I'm John.
And this is Getting Witchy. And this is kind of a special
this
recording.
is off the cuff. We were actually supposed to do, which would already be a couple days late, the Lunasa.
Mm-hmm. Also known as Llamas.
To talk about that holy Sabbath, because it is a Sabbath,
yes.
one of the 8. However, we both had very interesting days today.
Yes.
I had an individual come into my retail outlet and tell us that she wanted to basically unalive herself. She wanted to commit suicide. And so after going through the process of talking to her, and I didn't get to talk to her much because the upper salaried management came and took over, but I was on the phone with the police. And suicide is something that has touched many people, many people, and I'm not alone in that.
No, I've lost friends and family to it.
But in any event, so we are doing a protection spell for this individual. We have her name and date of birth because of the circumstances that transpired through that period of time. We will not be divulging that in the recording because she deserves her privacy. But based on the information that I have and what I saw, she is someone that's trying to recover from addiction. She had smoked meth at 6 a.m. today.
Right.
So we are doing a spell of protection and love and prosperity. Because if she's going to prosper, she's going to do it without drugs. Because you can't prosper with drugs. So, well, now you're acting like me.
Well, no,
you can
but
kind of prosper if you're selling the right amount.
No, I'm not even saying that. But I mean, look how many mainstream superstars actually do.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm not trying to bring that into it.
Anyway, this topic holds a special place in my life, and
in mine,
and yours, and like I said, many other people. So I felt obligated to do something to protect her in some way, or try to. I mean, ultimately, if she's doing crazy, stupid shit, nothing anybody does outside of the Creator would be able to stop that. But anyway, I digress. Sorry. I've held it together pretty well, though.
You have.
Uncle Jeff, that's what I was getting into.
Yes, I know.
Uncle Jeff committed suicide. So this topic is really hard on me. He took me to almost my first everything.
Right.
As we talked about. Almost.
Right.
Not quite everything, but almost.
Right.
Anyway.
And I think, I think this is something that has touched just about everybody.
In some way.
In some way, because if you look at all of the amazing actors, comedians, musicians, chefs, like well-known chefs like Anthony Bourdain, that we have lost.
I loved Anthony Bourdain. That dude, not only did he have the sarcastic kind of humor, but he loved food.
Yes, and he
I there was an episode you had playing one night what was that show? What is that show where the ones that get back at the bad guys? Leverage?
Oh, Leverage, yeah.
Okay. So there was a scene where the tank.
Oh, Elliot.
Yes. Okay. The tank of the gamers know what I'm talking about. The tank of the show talks about why, because someone questioned why something about hurting people, but then the food too, or so, I was buzzed. But he said that his only enjoyment in life, if you grew up the way I grew up, seeing someone take that first bite and fucking melting in their chair. Now, not verbatim, that's not what he said, but that's how I felt. Like, to make some, I don't know where I was going with this.
Well, because it reminded you of Anthony Bourdain, I think.
Yes, it did. Anyway, another amazing human being that took his own life.
Yes.
Because he didn't feel he had anybody to talk to.
Which is
insane.
So incredibly sad and insane. Because any one of his fans would have been there.
Not even the fans.
His friends.
But
his
what about his
members.
Freaking entourage? They all have an entourage.
Yeah, they all do.
2 to 5 or more people.
Like anybody would have been there. Anybody would have. I have had a cousin who I guess took his own life when his girlfriend broke up with him. And I don't know what was going on in his head. Like, none of us do, because they had gone, I guess, out of state for a wedding, and it happened during that weekend.
Well, that's a hell of a fucking selection for a wedding day.
Right. But I also have had a friend who, like, one day he was there, and the next day, like, I hadn't heard from him in a while, and even though I kept, like, trying to reach out to him, like, hey, are you okay? Because I knew he was feeling down.
Going through something?
I knew he was going through something, and I kept trying to reach out, and then there was one day I was just incredibly overcome with grief.
Is this the young man, I don't want to say Oscar, because that's stereotypical, but like your favorite cousin?
No.
The one that always stuck up for you and always backed you up growing up?
No, that wasn't. No.
Okay, but he passed, but not from suicide.
No, he died in a motorcycle accident when I was 10.
Gotcha. Sorry.
But no, this friend, like, I met him when I was at the airport.
Okay.
But, like, I knew he was down and he was going through some stuff, and I kept reaching out to him and didn't hear back from him for a good long while. And I think it was like 2 months later, there was just one day I was severely overcome with grief, and my first thought about it was, I miss him. And then 2 days later at work,
you found
a coworker was like, hey, do you remember so-and-so? And I'm like,
what do you mean remember?
I'm like, well,
like,
yeah,
it wasn't
why?
that long ago.
And she's like, oh, and she was so, like,
nonchalant about it.
Yes. And her wording was, I just found out he was found dead at the bottom of his swimming pool. Like, didn't even try to sugarcoat it, didn't. And it was like, ugh.
Right.
Like, that it hurt.
Right.
And I knew as soon as she said it that, like, what happened, even though nobody told me
Right.
exactly what happened. So yeah, I mean, it hurts. Like, even years later,
Yes.
decades later, it hurts.
Yes, it does. And our point to, I guess, this episode is that suicide is not really an option. It's final. Like, there is no way to come back from that.
It is a very permanent solution to a very temporary problem.
Thank you. Yes. Exactly. So, this young lady, who was about to be 21 in November, and that's all we're gonna say. We're gonna do a protection spell for her with prosperity
Yes.
and wisdom. Shh. Yeah, I'm talking to you.
He didn't start it. He was just sitting there minding his own.
And she jumped at him.
And she walks by and...
Well, she's trying to be a little, you know. What did he do to Midnight all the time? She's giving it back to him. He used to swat our beloved Midnight that passed.
Back in September. Oh
yeah.
my gosh, it's been almost a year.
Almost a year. Don't get me started on that. More emotions.
But he would walk up behind her and smack her on the butt. And she'd turn around, smack him in the face.
Well, she would not just turn around. She'd, like, you know, the cat hop and turn, like she
midair.
Yeah, and turn and bap, just as she's coming down. It's like it was awesome.
Well, you also have to remember though that Misty is older than Maury.
Yes.
By about a year.
But Maury was older than Midnight.
No, actually, Mitty was older.
Really?
Yeah, by about a year. So Mitty was the same age as Misty.
Wait a minute.
It's just that
if Mitty was the same age as Misty and Misty is older than Maury, then Misty... Okay, that's what you were saying. Never mind. There are people right now laughing their fucking asses off because of that.
But anyway, so when I was renting the house for Mom and Dad and Misty was still with me and I brought Maury into the house, I thought she would be okay with it because he looked just like her at the time. They had the same coloring.
Yeah, no, she wasn't having that shit.
She was not.
She was not having that
He
shit.
would be eating his food and she would walk up and just... She would walk up and get his attention, and as soon as he looked at her, she'd smack him across the face. And he would be like, what?
Well, that's what she's trying to do now, then.
That is what she's trying to do now, but he's
not letting it happen.
No, and he's quite a bit bigger than her now. And so he'll, like, she raises her paw to him, he raises his back, like...
Well, it's funny that, like she remembers the interaction, and she's trying to continue that. But, yeah, not happening, bitch.
Nope. He's not going to let it. Your tea is so good.
Anyway, so.
Do we want to do this?
Well, yeah, that was the point of this. Be kind of counterproductive and anticlimactic.
Okay, well.
Well, keeping in mind the individual who is suffering from various things, chemical or otherwise, we want to create this and perform this spell to protect her, strengthen her, and give her prosperity in all things.
Yes.
Prosperity doesn't mean money. it means success.
Yes, and when we talk about protection, we don't just necessarily mean protection from other people or other things, but also protection from herself. Because
big time.
One of the biggest causes, I think, of addiction is your own self. So we're going to send her love, protection, guidance. And prosperity. So, what we had written on the paper was her name and her birth date, as well as the words love, protection, guidance, and prosperity.
Now we're gonna sprinkle some a
it's my
blend, a pre-blend of protection herbs.
Yeah.
That you would put in a satchel or in a pouch or
a jar,
or a jar in the room, and then
we even each have a little bottle that we keep in our cars.
Well, yeah, and I carry one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You carry
with,
yours.
With the cat claw and the whiskers.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't find those, but
this is whole cloves, which is a protection thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sage, peace.
Also cleansing.
And cleansing.
Which is necessary when detoxing. Yeah, I don't know what happened to that.
Yeah, it's been that way a while.
Rosemary.
Ooh, rosemary. Very good choice. Rosemary is also very good in tea form for colds or just general, like upper
respiratory issues.
Not feeling good. What is that?
Cascarilla. It's powdered eggshell.
Oh, protection.
Mm-hmm. You haven't done the cinnamon yet.
And cinnamon, if I can get the freaking thing open. Cinnamon is for prosperity. Like you're supposed to do it the first of every month,
which we forgot to do.
Below. We did, yeah.
And then you've got thyme.
Morris Day and the. Oh no.
That's all right.
I wonder what I just.
Happy accidents.
I wonder what I just created there with all that thyme. Black pepper. And I'm being serious. I accidentally dumped a lot of thyme. So you would think that it might add more thyme. Yeah. Did I do cinnamon?
You did cinnamon.
Okay.
You didn't do salt.
And what's salt good for?
Besides cleansing.
Protection. Oh, we need
Did you misplace your lighter?
I did. I will be right back. by the way, we have 2 whole rooms done, and using one of them
For the apothecary.
well to help finish the others.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, in order to get the living room finished, we needed new bookshelves, which just came in yesterday?
Yep. And I won't say I fucked up, however, they weren't, but to create the 5-6 foot bookshelf, you're putting two bookshelves together to get a 5 shelf. So it's 2 separate units on top. I messed up, but you know,
they're only temporary.
They are literally only temporary until we can get the ones we want, either to match the living room set we already have, or something different. Wow, that burned quick.
Yes, it did.
Holy shit. Only one little piece. I will go and spread these in the wind and make sure the wind's not blowing back in my face like it has happened. Yeah, I think we've talked about that before too.
I think we have, yeah.
Yeah, make sure when you're doing certain spells, when you have ashes that you need to cast to the wind,
that the wind doesn't blow it back in your face.
Dude, I've had it happen twice. It's hilarious, but it sucks. It fucking sucks. I'm not gonna lie. Like, just a whole... Anyway.
Well, while he's doing that, I would like to say...
Peace. We love you. And you know what? I don't have the suicide hotline number. Google it. Like, if I would have thought ahead, I'd have it ready for this. But it wasn't really planned like that.
Right.
This was because of what happened today. But reach out for help. All right? You're not alone, motherfucker. You're not.
Well, what I was going to say is...
Sorry.
If you would like to add some loving, healing energy to the spell, we definitely would appreciate it.
Thank you. I forgot about that.
It's not required, but if you feel inspired to do so, we definitely welcome it. As for what he mentioned, the suicide hotline, I am actually looking that up right now. So I guess from your phone, you can either dial 988. You could also text that same number. Like, you don't have to actually call if you don't feel like you can physically talk, but you need guidance. You can text it. And there might also be other numbers available depending on where you are. There is also the phone number 1-800-273-8255. That basically translates to 1-800-273-TALK. That is the official National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So if you feel like you are starting to have those thoughts, or you know somebody who is having those thoughts, reach out to that number, and they can provide you with resources that can get you through it.
We love you.
We love you, witches. And the world is better with you in it.
Amen to that.
All right, witches. We love you. Keep on chugging along. Peace out.
Peace.